Hello. Hi, everyone. It is Tuesday night and it is a holiday week. And I'm feeling every bit of that holiday week. Plus the fact that now it's dark, like really, really dark at this time, which makes life, it makes me feel like I'm just ready to go to sleep. So I don't know about you on that, but right now it is incredibly dark here in Oklahoma. So I'm Marcie Billen and I am a real estate agent here in the Oklahoma City metro. And I specifically live in Norman, and I go live on Tuesday nights to give you updates on what is going on in our community. So if you need to catch up on news because you live here, you can come here on Tuesday nights. And if you are thinking about moving here, you can tune in to see what life here is really like. Okay, so I have a few things to cover tonight. The weather, obviously, because if you guys saw my thumbnail on this particular video, you saw that I was going to talk about El Nino and our apparently harsh winter that's coming. But first, if you have joined us, looks like we have a couple of people. If you have joined us, you can comment if you'd like and tell me where you're from or whatever. Or just say hi. That's fine too. And if you don't want to, that's fine. I'll just dive right into the information here. So, all right. The first thing I wanted to talk about is actually school. So, not weather, but school. So let me share my screen with you guys. This article was in the Oklahoman, but there's tons of information out there for you about this. One of the reasons I wanted to cover it, not because I'm for or against, it doesn't matter. I don't actually have children, but this could be really helpful for people if you didn't know about this. And I want you to know so that way, if you need to apply by December 1st, you can. So here's what it is. Window. I'm going to share this with you guys. So I'm on the Oklahoman's website. I think this one, this is a free article. So you don't even have to, I'm a paying subscriber to the Oklahoman. That's the newspaper based here in Oklahoma City, but you don't have to be a subscriber. So let me just check this. Perfect. All right. So what is this? This is what's called the new school choice tax credit program. So apparently the website to handle this is going up on December 1st at 8:30 in the morning Central Time so that you can apply. So what is this going to do? Well, if you have a child and you're sending your child to a private school or you're homeschooling, then you can actually apply to get a tax credit to receive some money back from the state. So that way you have some money to send your kid to private school or for different stuff for being homeschooled. So there's a few things that you need to do. Like I said, you need to apply at 8:30 in the morning on December 1st. And if you don't do that, you may miss out. So basically there's $150 million available in Oklahoma. So once that runs out, then that's it. You don't get any for this year. So that's why you want to apply at 8:30 in the morning on December 1st. Okay. So you need to do that. The website is going to be in this article. I had the website earlier and now I don't see it. But there is a breakdown. So under the programs, families with a household income of under $75,000 are eligible for a $7,500 per child credit and receive top priority. Okay. So next are families with income between $75,000 and $150,000, and you get a credit of $7,000. And then after that, it's $150 to $225, and you can get $6,500 per kid. And then for $225 to $250, you can get $6,000 per kid. Now, one thing that it didn't really tell me on this article is where's the cutoff, right? I mean, it's the cutoff is when they run out of money, is my understanding. But I don't know how long they're leaving the window open before they give out the money. It's very confusing. So you have to get in there on December 1st. And what you need, if you're sending your kid to private school, is an affidavit from the school saying that they're in school so that you can get that. And the money goes towards tuition, I guess, but it's a tax credit. So they're giving you a credit on your taxes, essentially. So if you haven't tried to visit this website or haven't looked at this article for the Oklahoma tax credit program for your kid, if you're sending your kid to private school, then you need to go look at this. Okay? Awesome. All right. Fantastic. Let me see here. No one's commenting. That's okay. I'll just talk to the air. It's not a big deal. I'm kidding, you guys. I'm so excited for Thanksgiving. I mean, Thanksgiving is probably, I guess, one of my favorite holidays. I love sweet potatoes. It's my favorite dish at Thanksgiving. And mostly I'm just ready to rest. I don't know about you guys, but I've been working really hard. I'm guessing you have too. Most people do. So, yeah. But the next thing we wanted to look at was the weather. So I kind of hinted at this in my picture on the front of this video. So I guess, and I'm not like a huge weather buff. However, I have discovered that I follow weather more than most people, or like a lot of people that I talk to who don't live in Oklahoma. And I think the reason for that is like, we just kind of have to, right? So for those of you who are thinking about moving here, the weather app that I use is called the Forewarn app. And I look at it multiple times a day. And the main reason is I'm looking at the clouds. So I'm looking at my phone's not in here because it was, of course, dead. But I'm looking at clouds because I need to see if it's going to rain or whatever. And it'll also tell me, of course, how windy it is and stuff. So if I'm questioning if my Apple weather app is correct or not, I go straight to the Forewarn app. So it works for me if I'm anywhere in the US, and I do use it if I'm traveling in the US. But yeah, here in Oklahoma, it's super useful because there's also different shapes of storms. So if you live here, you probably know what I'm talking about. If a storm is like just a big old blob and it doesn't have hail or a tornado or anything, they have to be like a long, skinny thing to, have a tornado on them. So yeah, let's see. Yeah. Elisa said she's looking forward to weather, especially with David Payne. So if you haven't looked up the David Payne drinking games, then you have to look those up because they're really funny. He does say some really hysterical things. I'll turn it on for a second whenever there's a tornado because we don't really watch the weather. I just look at my app all the time. Because he kind of stresses me out. And it's funny because whenever I read Boomtown, which is a book about Oklahoma City, that's kind of what they said too, is like Gary England gets mad at David Payne because David Payne is like really dramatic and Gary England was not. And Gary England is like the father of meteorology here in Oklahoma. So yeah. All right, Mrs. D. Yes, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for always watching too. I really like that. Thank you from California. All my people from California here. Sweet. Okay, so next, El Nino winter. So one thing that I think I forget sometimes is that winter doesn't start until December 21st. So like Christmas is almost in fall, right? But yeah, January and February are the cold months here. I've seen snow before in April. I've seen snow before in March. We're kind of expecting winter to be very cold. And the reason is because of an El Nino winter. So I covered this a few episodes ago. We were talking about the Farmer's Almanac and how they're like, it's going to be a really cold winter. One of the ways that you can find this out is like cutting open a persimmon. Have you guys heard of this? You cut open a persimmon. I don't know if my mom has any. I'll have to ask her whenever I go home tomorrow. But you cut it open and see what shape is inside the seed. So you have to cut all the way through the thing, is my understanding. I don't know. I could be wrong on that. So you see what shape is in there. If it's a spoon, that means it's going to be a hard winter, like a lot of snow. I can't remember what a knife means. And then a fork or something. I don't know. If you know, just let me know in the comments. Awesome. Nice. I'm going to bring my banner back up here. Okay. So the last time we apparently saw an El Nino winter was in 18 and 19. I remember that winter. I think I went to London for New Year's, but I don't remember if it was colder, if it snowed a lot. So funny story. we had this guy come in to visit Oklahoma a few weeks ago, and we were looking at houses, and he was from what I call a cold state, meaning I think he was from Iowa or Illinois, one of those cold states. But he said he didn't want a corner lot for his house because then he'd have to shovel the snow. And me and Handsome, my husband, kind of looked at each other because, like, we don't shovel snow here because, like, when the snow falls, it's gone in like 2 days. So, like, why would you shovel it? You can like put cat litter on it and stuff and it'll melt or like underneath it. But, like, it's gone so fast. I rarely see people shoveling snow, so I thought I would share that, like, it just disappears. It, like, melts super fast. The best way to and if it's icy, that's totally different. Ice and snow are 2 completely different things. So when we get ice here in Oklahoma, that is much more hazardous. Of course, people don't drive well, in the snow, but ice is like you can't it's really hard to drive well. Um, we do have specific snow routes here in Oklahoma City. Like I had to drive one time in Dallas in ice and they were just not prepared. And I've talked about that before, but they definitely were not. So just something to understand like we have snow routes, ice routes here. A lot of times when we have heavy ice or heavy snow, most of the time, in fact, especially since COVID and everyone started kind of working from home, it is more likely that your job or, of course, your kid's school is not going, they're not going to have to go in. Of course, if you're like a necessary worker, then you have to go in. But you have to be really careful. We do get a lot of ice, and that is what we're expecting from this El Nino winter, in my understanding, is a lot of yeah, one of those. So that means ice and it means snow, and usually with that comes the wind. And for me personally, that is the worst part of our winters is the really harsh wind. So be prepared for that. Cool. All right. I wanted to give you a short rundown of how the real estate market is doing because I am a realtor. So thank you so much for tuning into my channel. If this video has helped you at all, hit that like button for me. It helps me a lot and it makes it so more people will see this video. And then also if you're thinking of moving, like either buying a house or selling a house in the Oklahoma City Metro, just give me a call. I'd be thrilled to help you. It'd be great. Okay. So Oklahoma City area home sales have slowed. I've noticed this. I'm not sure if you have. If you're not a realtor, you may not have, which I totally understand. Mortgage rates are actually going down. So for a while there, they were hovering around that 8%. And the average this past week, I think, was 7.44%. So that's great. It's really good news. Love that. Sales were down 4.3% month over month. So we're definitely seeing transactions down. That's just meaning like the changing of hands of residential homes. And then inventory has crept up. So right now in the Oklahoma City Metro, we're at a 2.5 month supply for homes. I'm going to see, I have a comment and I just want to make sure that I answer it. Dress appropriately for wind. You do have to dress appropriately for wind, Elisa. It's really important. A hat is entirely necessary. Back to real estate for a second. So 2.5 months supply. What does that mean? So a 2.5 month supply means that if no other homes went on the market today, then it would take 2.5 months to sell everything that's on the market based on, needs of like what we're seeing in needs of buyers, right? And that's all economics, fun stuff. So if we have a 5 or 6 month supply, that means we're in a balanced market. So in a 2.5 month supply, we're still in a seller's market, meaning that technically sellers will have more of an upper hand. I will tell you that in Oklahoma, we have never had a buyer's market, meaning more than 5 or 6 months of supply, even during the Great Recession. Now, can you get a buyer's market at certain spectrums within the real estate market? Yeah, totally. But overall, with the median and the average of everything, we have never actually seen a buyer's market. So we're always usually kind of like lower end on like how much inventory we have, meaning there's more demand from buyers here in Oklahoma. Nice. Okay. And then the average price point actually went up 2.3% month over month and 2.1% year over year. So this is what I've been explaining to people, and it is really frustrating. I will give you that. So people are expecting home prices to go down, and like they have sort of. Um, you'll see price reductions, but that doesn't mean the average prices have gone down. What we do see is that buyers have more room for negotiations, meaning like I'm not, seeing buyers having to pay full price, or they're getting lots of closing costs paid or lots of repairs. So know that without that competition from other buyers, you do get more negotiated for you. So that's really good news. When interest rates go down, because it is our belief that they will at some point, usually during election year, they do, just FYI, then we will see more buyers coming into the market, which means that there will be more demand for houses, which means buyers won't get to negotiate as much. They'll have to pay more usually and get less. That's how this works. All right. Median price. That's what I usually look at, is median and not average. But it was a little bitty gain, like 0.6% for the median prices of houses. So yeah, I hope this was really helpful for you guys. Like I said, if it was, give me a thumbs up. And thank you so much for commenting. You'll love that. Thanks so much, guys. And I will see you next week for sure. And I hope you have a really great Thanksgiving.